Who's excited? Who's excited for this particular session? Because I am. To introduce Gertrude before we kick off. Gertrude is the co-founder at Tech Sales Nexus. It's a revenue community like ours. And she currently works as a sales operations lead at Big Cabal Media. And that is why I'm excited to have her in this session today, because in our day-to-day, it is our job to optimize sales process. So if the sales team isn't getting the result that they need to get, it's Gertrude's job to find out why, right? It's our job, while she's not a data analyst, it's our job to take insights from the CRM and use it to draw up new strategies, data-driven strategies for the sales team, and then use it to, drive their operations. So yeah, I'm excited to have, Gertrude here today. Please, I want to see reactions. I want to see energy in the room if we're excited for this particular session. It's our second to the last session for today. Who is excited? Who's as excited as I am? Fantastic, fantastic. Hi, Gertrude. How are you doing today?
Oh, hi, Titi. I'm well. I'm good. Hi, everyone. Pleasure to be here, and thank you for that warm introduction. I'm glad I get to finally see. I was wondering if I was going to be the only one whose face will be revealed today, but yes, happy to be in the room with all of you. I have a question, Titi. Can you hear me? Hi, can you guys hear? Is it my network or Titi's network? Oh, wow.
I can hear you clearly. Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you, Titi. I can hear you.
Great. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, cool. So I was saying I have a question. I wanted to know how everyone is doing and hope your brain still has bandwidth for this conversation, because listening to the data analyst conversation, I don't know, I've never been a numbers person until I started doing sales, but listening to that, it just seemed like a lot to unpack. So please, hope you guys have space for my conversation, please. That's my question.
This was strategically planned. So now that they see how the numbers, work with data analysis, now they can tie it back to sales. So you as a salesperson would now make it make sense in their own sales language. And you already day-to-day as a salesperson. Marketing guys here as well, CS guys here as well, everyone is here to listen to how they can tie this back into their day-to-day. So yeah, you're safe. You're coming at the right time. And I'm sure everyone is excited. I see you have fans in the chat box. I can see Edwina. She's excited.
I don't know about that. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here again. Let me know when I can start so I can just, dive right into it. Now. Okay. Cool. Hello, everyone. Titi has done a bit of an introduction and a background on what I do and who I am. I don't think I should go ahead to talk about that anymore, but it'll be nice to connect with you on LinkedIn, just in case you want us to have further interactions after now and probably get to know more of each other after now. So please let us do this. Is that the Kenneth I know in the comment section? Okay, I'm just going to share my screen and get started. So today we're talking about, once you can see my screen, I think once I start sharing, I won't be able to see what's happening on Zoom anymore. So in event you lose me at any point, I'm still at the Reb of Africa event. So I'm using my phone's hotspot. So in event you can't hear me at some point, whatever, just unmute and say something. Okay. All right, I'm sure you can see my screen now. Kindly give a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Oh, I can see myself while I'm sharing my screen. I'm used to Google Meets. When you're sharing your screen on Google Meet, you can't see yourself. But yes. Okay, cool. Our topic is from database to growth engine, how CRM powers sales operations. I was privy enough to see some of the decks that was going to be used for this workshop before my session. So one thing I saw, and I know it's intentional, thanks to Titi and Dara, is the reinforcement of the tool, the CRM in itself, and why it is important. So I know that you've heard definitions upon definitions about what a CRM is and how it functions and how it applies to our day-to-day as salespeople, as marketing people, talents, as customer success talents, and the likes. You know, all of us at the intersection of revenue generating and revenue supporting teams. So we'll just get right to it without talking about what a CRM is. Okay. I cannot move my screen.
What's the challenge?
I'm trying to move to the next slide. I don't know why it's not moving.
Do you need me to share from my end, if possible? Or do you want to
Okay, we can try that. We can try that just so we don't waste time. So yeah, please go ahead. I stopped sharing and now it's moving. Interesting.
You want to try again?
Okay, let me try again. Sorry, guys. Tech happens. Can you all see my screen? Hello, can you see my screen?
See your entire screen. When you hear CRM, what comes to mind?
Okay, perfect. So let me try moving it again. Perfect. Now it's moving. Interesting. Okay, let's get right to it. I'm here to have a good time. I'm not here to bore you with a lot of theories and stuff like that. I'm here to have a good time. So let's talk about how we can use all the data that is collected in the CRM to aim for growth and to push whatever businesses that we are aligned with forward. So first of all, when you hear CRM, what comes to mind? Like I said, I know you've been bamboozled with a lot of CRM definitions. CRM is customer relationship management. It's a tool that allows us to manage the end-to-end process of when a prospect gets into our, or a lead gets into our pipeline to when it eventually converts down to when that particular lead becomes a raving fan, in summary. So CRM as a database. This is where most people get stuck. And from my point of view as a sales operations lead, I didn't even start as a sales operations lead, and that's a background I would have loved to share, but we don't have a lot of time. I didn't start as one in sales operations. I started as a business development executive. Even prior to that, I started as a sales associate, and all I had to do was generate leads before moving to business development, and then I did a bit of partnerships, right? So now that I do sales operations, that understanding of the end-to-end sales process and understanding that the sales operations is an intersection of everything that happens and everything that facilitates and makes the sale happen. Now that I'm here, it just makes it a lot more wholesome and makes a lot of sense for me and for my team in general. So the CRM as a database is where sales team members get stuck and most sales leaders get stuck. Sales operations is becoming a lot more interesting for organizations here in Nigeria, and I can't speak to the whole of Africa, but I know that in the abroad, it is taken seriously. But I'm happy to see that most Nigerian organizations are now taking it seriously as well. So you're not selling exactly, but everything that you do helps the sales process to be better, to be optimized, and a lot more effective for the sales team and for, you know, the organizations in general. So just so that we can achieve the goal that we've set out to achieve. So where do most sales team get stuck? They get stuck where they just look at it as, we just impute the data. That's if they even impute the data in the first place, because I know there is that conversation, but let's not get into the mess of that. Most organizations and most sales teams just see the CRM as, okay, it is meant to just help me see in real time how my deals are progressing in the pipeline, but they don't take it a step further to the growth bit, and we'll get to that part. Here, they look at it as, I store contact information, see my deals in the pipeline, you manually enter the data, reports, that's if they even do the reporting accurately. Reps see it as extra work. Most times you have to chase some reps to get to do what they're meant to do by just walking out of your CRM. Your CRM is meant to be like your personal assistant, like I tell my team members, but most sales reps see it as just extra work, and they just take it as a database, and that is where it ends. Limited visibility across teams, where other teams can't even see or use the data that has been collected from the CRM to influence what they do and achieve certain KPIs. Why isn't it moving? Okay, I think we're stuck again. Okay, cool. Now, this is the most important part of hope this is not blocking the screen. This is the most important part of the sales operations framework in general. Everything that defines sales operations is these four major bits here. The sales operations quadrant does not exist, but thinking about our conversation today, it just made a lot of sense to identify them as a quadrant, right? And that is what's going to take us from just seeing the CRM as your data tool to what can actually be a growth engine for your organization, for you even as a sales talent. Number one, forecasting and strategy. Your CRM can be used to forecast. And if you don't know what forecasting is, it is your ability to say, okay, in the next quarter or by this time next year, this is what we should have done if we consistently take certain actions. This is the number that the team should have achieved, or this is how much we should have brought in revenue. It influences strategy. Using the data that you've collated in your CRM can allow you to forecast. And when a team can forecast, it is setting itself up for the kind of success that it needs to achieve as a team and extensively the organization in general. So forecasting and strategy, the first one, process optimization. Sales operations allows you to look at your sales process using the CRM, look at your sales process, identify where most deals are falling through the cracks, and then begin to fix bottlenecks. That is one of the best things about the CRM being used in sales operations, right? This way, you know that why is it that my team members are consistently, or why is it that I am consistently generating leads, booking meetings, but somehow I get less than 10% conversion from the leads that I've generated and from the meetings, even though you get sales qualified leads at the end of the day, you see that your conversion is pretty slim. When you can look at your CRM and identify that stage of the sales process where your deals are falling through the cracks, you can then optimize and make it a lot more effective and give you the kind of conversion that you need. Another thing about process optimization is being able to look at those mundane tasks, those boring tasks that is taking up a lot of your time. They are not revenue generating activities. They are admin, but they tend to take a lot of time and take you away from doing what actually brings the revenue that you need to bring in for your sales team. That is one thing the CRM can do for you. If you can see, okay, this is the bottleneck I'm experiencing and this is what's causing it, then you can optimize, share with your manager, or if you are a leader, you can then say, okay, we need to tweak this to make this a lot more functional for myself and for the team in general. Then number 3 is sales enablement, which is one of the things we're doing right now. This workshop is an example of sales enablement, where you're equipping sales talents with the wherewithal to do what they need to do, to be able to sell better, to be able to have stronger conversations with their prospects, to be able to network, to be able to grow their skill sets. That is sales enablement. Another bit of sales enablement is designing a playbook for your team members that it's easy for them to reference every time they are faced with a challenge. You don't want to be that manager that spends your whole time extinguishing fires when you can actually do productive things. With a sales book, it gives your team members or you the roadmap. With a sales playbook, rather, it gives you the roadmap to achieve your KPIs. It allows you to get to know the organization that you're working for. It allows you to get to know frameworks that allows you to qualify leads better. It allows you to see the different products that you're selling, how you should sell them, the best channels to sell them. Playbooks like that is one of the best things you can do for your team members. So if you don't have a manager that has worked on a sales playbook for you, sometimes team members have to work on that themselves. I have done it before. I had to create a sales playbook for myself. And this was when I was working at a fintech because nobody did that for me. But that is a part of the sales operations quadrant that allows us to be better as sales talent. So when you look at your sales team, you've identified the bottlenecks, you've identified where they struggle, then you can start to work on workshops like this, virtual sessions. My team, we also do book reads where we pick a particular book and we read. The last book we read was Fanatical Prospecting. I am obsessed with that book. This is my second read at the moment, but it was nice to be able to read it with the team. So we do book reads. We also do KSS sessions. KSS is called knowledge sharing sessions, where team members, you assign a topic to the team members and they go do their research, even if they're not so knowledgeable about it. They go do their research, and in the vein of doing that, they get to learn more. And when they're talking about it, I mean, what better way to solidify knowledge than to teach it, right? So that is also one of the ways that we strengthen sales enablement through the CRM. So you see how that works. Identify bottlenecks and then see, okay, is this a deficit as far this is something this team member doesn't know at all, or this is something the team member doesn't want to do? If it's something that they do not know at all, then you know that you should be working on how to equip them with that knowledge. Okay. And lastly, cross-functional alignment. This is a very important part of the sales operations quadrant where you are responsible. Like I said, it's at the intersection of everything. You are responsible for making sure that we are collaborating nicely with the marketing team, the product team, the customer success team, everybody, to be very honest. And depending on the kind of organization that you're working with, you're also collaborating actively with the engineering team. In fact, the engineering team, they might see you as a pain in the behind, but honestly, you will have to reach out to them for a lot of things. I experienced that a lot, to the extent that whenever I reached out to any of the engineering teams, they'd be like, okay, Gertrude, what do you want right now? So honestly, as a sales team member, you will be working with just about all the departments. And in sales operations, based on the bottlenecks that we face, based on the challenges that we're experiencing, we have to collaborate with everybody. Finance, customer success, down to the security person at the gates. You don't want to be that person that is, having issues with the different team members. So you have to find a way to make that work. All right. So now that we've settled that and we've seen the quadrants for sales operations, then we can then move from the CRM as just a database to the CRM as a growth engine. Having these 4 segments in mind, you can then say, okay, this is the backbone of sales operations, and this is how I'm going to use my CRM to make it work. Number 1, I mentioned driving forecasting. Forecasting is so pivotal at my organization. As I speak to you, for what we are going to sell in 2026, we already have that number intact. For what we're selling in Q2 of 2026, we are already working on it right now. And being able to see that has allowed my team to say, okay, now this is what we need to do. If organizations are working on their budgets in Q3, Q4, then we should start getting our decks ready for this conversation and these numbers that we aim to achieve in 2026. We need to start getting all the tools, and that is sales operations. we need to start getting all the tools and all the resources that the sales talent will need to be able to achieve that number that we forecasted now. And that's how you start to work proactively. So you don't just wait for things to happen and then everybody is trying to quench fires here and there, or we're missing targets. I'd rather we exceed our targets and be proactive than we're just being lackadaisical and we don't even meet half of our target, especially realistic targets, because I know some organizations, they be doing too much. Now, the next is optimize sales processes. I mentioned already. Now with the CRM, when you identify the different stages, and to be honest, I know that based on the organization that you are with and the different stages of your sales process, your deal pipeline may look different. But one thing that speaks to everybody is getting that lead in, qualifying the lead, knowing, booking a meeting, right? And afterwards, negotiations. Then you have the invoicing bit. If you do invoices at your organization, eventually, and then you either win or you lose it, right? So the process is quite standard, regardless of whatever organization you're with. But when you now have a CRM that you can see as a growth engine and not just a database, you can then know what part of this sales process should be worked on. When I joined Big Cabal this year, I realized that they had this thing where sales team members will get on a call and then they'll have a conversation. And then when the prospect says, okay, share an invoice, that invoice will be shared and it will be accorded like a deal has been closed. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Because you now see the disparity between invoices raised that have been recorded as deals, but the revenue that has come in is not weighing, or it's not in alignment with the amount of invoices that have been raised. It was a struggle because the sales team members, they've habituated, they've gotten so used to that. And it was easy because I can just, as a prospect might just say, okay, share an invoice, let's see what it looks like. A prospect that will be asking you to share an invoice is saying, share an invoice because I probably want to take it to my team and then we align. Or they want to even see what it looks like after tax to know if it fits their budget or not. Or they want to have that invoice and then whenever they're ready, they come back to you. But you can't qualify that as closing a deal. And then when we started to tweak that, it was a challenge. But now the team, I can happily say that the team is adjusting to it. And that was a bit of the sales process that was a challenge. So the sales team was doing all these numbers, but the finance team couldn't speak to those numbers. We were not seeing it. Or is it the part where you generate leads and after leads have been generated, you fixate on those leads so much? You've moved those leads to a certain stage of the pipeline using the CRM, but you can see that these leads have not converted. But every week you're coming back to talk about the same leads without imputing new leads in your pipeline. When I look at your CRM every week, I don't even see the leads you've generated, the new leads you've generated. How are we supposed to convert? And it's a numbers game. If you're going to generate 100 leads and 10 of that converts, that's if you're lucky anyways, but that's how it goes. So you want to consistently make sure that you're generating leads and moving these across the pipeline while you're still doing revenue generating activity like follow-ups and still generating leads. It's mundane, but it's what it is. That's how you actually convert. So when we're able to identify that, we saw that the team members were not even generating enough leads to give us the kind of conversion that we need, and then they fixate on one particular or set of deals that were in the pipeline for months. And you talk about it, I followed up with this person, I followed up with that person. But when we identified it, we were able to fix that. Then there is the power, sales enablement, and productivity. I spoke to this a bit. So yes, once you identify what needs to be done for the team members, when I identified that we needed to work on lead generation and qualifying our leads a lot strongly, I started to have sessions. We had sessions using the MEDIC framework, the BANT framework to be able to qualify our leads a lot better. And we have been better for it. Are we there yet? Absolutely not. but I love the fact that now we are aware and it has reflected in the products that we sell. We just concluded Naira Life a few months ago, and then there was Hertitude. I was able to see the difference in how we closed deals for Naira Life and for Hertitude based on the bottlenecks that we identified and based on the sessions that we were able to have and the things we corrected. And of course, being able to align with the marketing, products, and customer success teams. Once you take your CRM from being just the data engine to now your growth engine, you then be able to do these 4 things ideally. So your CRM takes your data, allows you to make strong decisions, and gives you revenue. Revenue is not sales, right? In my understanding, there is and maybe the financially savvy people on here can speak to it, but there is the bit where you bring in sales numbers, and there is, after all the expenses the business has made, you have a strong bottom line. That, from which we sometimes even call profit. That for me is what I like to think is revenue, when we have a strong bottom line. All right, so forecasting and strategy, I'll just run through this because I've mentioned it a bit. It's just using CRM data to predict future sales outcome, track pipeline health. And when you forecast, you can then say, for us to achieve so targets, these are the amount of leads that we should be generating month on month, week on week. And how do you do that for your sales team so that they have clarity? You create a strategy doc. And so for my team, every time we have a major event, I work on a strategy that allows us to see, maybe I might want to call it a mini playbook, but it's not a playbook. You might want to call it a battle card, yes. So on there, you can see the different sectors that is peculiar to whatever it is that you're selling. In my organization, we do a lot of events. So for example, we have moonshots coming. With moonshots coming, the strategy doc will speak to the kind of leads that we should be generating, right? Those that are qualified for, we want a lot of tech companies there, but it's not restricted to tech, right? There is also the banking institutions. There is also oil and gas industries now who have tech embedded in what they do. They can be part of moonshots. So with this visibility, they then know that, oh, I shouldn't just focus on tech companies alone, edtechs and fintechs alone. There are other tech companies that you should even reach out to, even if you want to do tech, right? So it gives them that clarity. I also go as far as working on email templates for them, creating a sequence for the team members that allows them to be better. For all they need to do most times is copy, paste, optimize, or edit, and you're good to go. You don't need to start racking your brains, and it just helps you be faster as a salesperson. So forecasting and strategy, strong points right there. For process optimization, you use CRM Insight to streamline your sales workflow. Remove those things that are going to delay you and automate repetitive tasks. I'm also glad we have AI now. AI makes things a lot easier for us as salespeople. And even with the CRM we use Pipedrive. AI now allows you to even generate reports in a way that it's quick. You don't even need to be a data analyst to be able to get the data that you need to speak to certain things. After events at Big Cabal, which I can speak to, that's where I work. After events, we then go back.
Is it just me? We lost Gertrude for a few minutes. Few seconds, rather. Hello, can anyone hear me? I think it's me. Oh, okay, fantastic. All right. Let's just give her a few minutes to get back in here. I do hope that we're enjoying this session so far. Anybody enjoying? Anybody taking anything? Wow, fantastic. Okay, that was fast. That reaction is fast. That's great. Interesting. We're gonna have time for questions once you join back. Once you join back in. That's amazing, Malaya. That's great. Yes, Michael, we are going to get all of the resources, but it's going to be after the entire workshop. We understand that. We know that these 3 days would be very intense, but then we do this once a year, so it's worth it.
Hi, Titi. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, welcome back.
Thanks for your patience. Like I said, I'm at the Rev Up event, and where I'm at right now feels like a basement. So the internet is not so strong. But yeah, thanks for your patience, everyone. Okay, where was I? All right, so we're talking about sales enablement. I want to believe we didn't miss out on the other slide. It was this slide, right? And how I was talking about how this is so important for sales talents. And if you're part of an organization that doesn't take this seriously, I hate to tell you that you have to take it upon yourself to do this for yourself. And if I'm being honest, everyone in this room right now who has taken this workshop seriously is doing a bit of sales enablement without a manager or without your boss telling you, doing it for you. You're here taking all this information just to be better. That is sales enablement for you to be able to be that amazing sales talent that you aim to be. Okay. Cross-functional alignment, I talked about this. Sales operations. How does this work right now for me? From the lead generation stage, right? To you're working with the marketing team as well. Yes, the sales team members will go out there to hunt, as we like to call it, but there's also what we call marketing qualified leads. So the marketing team will help to generate leads and then pass it on to the sales team. And then, we then go on to reach out to these and try to qualify them, which is what we then call sales qualified leads. However, it depends on the organization. The organization that I work with right now does not have a marketing team that is fixated on generating leads. They are like a growth and audience growth marketing team. They are not built to generate leads for us. I have to be the person now in sales operations to then say, okay, these are the ways that we should be generating leads for so and so needs that we have. We then start to run campaigns, put out brand assets, push it out to the regions that we want it to be pushed out to. And from there, we get the leads that we want, qualify them, and chase. That's how we're doing it now. And hopefully over time, the marketing team will get used to that bit as well. But why am I sharing this? We still need the marketing team regardless. And they help us to put out the brand assets, help us with the copy. And I believe you know what a copy is. Just whatever gets you to take action when you see an ad, however it's written, however it's said, that's a copy. So they help us with that. And afterwards, we run with it. At my organization as well, we don't have a customer support team. We are our customer support. It's sad, but it's what it is. So we then do account management vis-a-vis customer support, to be honest. However, we have the creative team, we have the marketing team, like I mentioned, we have the tech team. We have to liaise with all the different segments of the business to enable us sell effectively. When my sales team members are having challenges, they reach out to me. I have a line manager who heads the business development department and partnerships. But when the team members are having challenges, I am the one they come to. And then whatever the blocker is with the external teams, I then have to make sure that that is eased out for them to move their sale forward. Case study. This just speaks to how a particular team, which I've tagged team A here, treated the CRM, and another team, team B, treated the CRM. You want to be team B. You use the CRM as, hope this is not blocking the screen. Okay, I'm just going to minimize it. Where you use the CRM as an engine and not just a database. If you focus on the CRM as just a database, you're going to lose out on a lot of things that you can do with it. And if I am being honest, I don't think I have hacked 100% what my pipe drive can do for me, because that's the CRM we use right now. So the more you use it, the more you discover ways that it can be better. Your team can be better for it. Okay, even when Pipedrive is having sessions, they will send you an email, or once you open your Pipedrive, you see it. I still join those sessions because there's only, you can't know it all, to be honest. So you want to be that team or that team member that uses your CRM as an engine, as a growth engine. You're identifying all of these different stages and identifying your problems and being able to use your CRM and solve those issues, to be able to highlight them and to be able to move your department or your team closer to its goal. Okay, jumped too far. All right, so lastly, unlocking your CRM. This is a framework for doing that. Number one, data discipline. Yes, we don't want our CRM to be solely a data engine, but we need that data. So you have to impute the data. There are certain fields when you're imputing your, let's say you're creating a deal for the first time, there are certain fields that your organization or your team, your manager can say, you must fill this because it's ideal when we need to scrub for the information that we need, maybe for reporting or to forecast or whatever. Whatever those fields are, don't see it as an extra tax or an extra burden. See it as, this is important. My job is not just to bring in these leads and hope they convert. My job is beyond that. It is also for the business. I put out something this week that said, whatever product you sell, you can be a better salesperson when you think about it like you own that business. I can't function otherwise. Even till today, when people see me, they still refer to me as the lady who worked at that fintech company, because you own it as a salesperson. It is yours. So starting from that minuscule activity of imputing the data in the CRM to when that and forecast using that data, or create reports using that data. All of those things are important and should be important to you. You should be that person that is also concerned about your business generating revenue and not just bringing in the numbers, but are we actually making money? You can be selling billions of dollars, and when push comes to shove and you do the numbers, you see that all of this money coming in has loopholes where they're leaving the business from. That might not be your business, but it is your concern. But of course, it starts from you being able to tend to the little things as simple as data discipline, where you impute your data and you clear processes. 2, another way to help you unlock your CRM is by automation. One of the things I got my team members to do is working out of their CRM. So instead of using your Google Suites and all of that and all the different, I got them to integrate their G Suites, their calendar, to our CRM. We also integrated our invoicing app to our CRM. We integrated, what's the other one? Can't remember the name exactly at the moment, but it just allows us to wake up in the morning and you're opening your CRM and you're working out of your CRM. You get to see everything in real time. And if you're using, and this is free advert for Pipedrive, unfortunately, but if you're using a CRM like Pipedrive, you get to see everything. Once you've integrated, you get to see everything in real time, and it helps you be better for it. It helps you to not reference your CRM as an admin task, but a personal assistant, something that guides you, that allows you to be a better salesperson. And you can see as a salesperson when you're so focused on revenue supporting activities rather than revenue generating activities, and everything in general, to be honest. So automation is very important, and creating workflows, it is important. There is a tool called Zapier. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly, but with Zapier, it allows you to connect the different tools that you use for your sales process, including the CRM. It makes it so easy and streamlined. That way it is all in one place. We don't use Zapier because my organization is very, what's the word? I'm trying to put it mildly so nobody quotes me. We are the kind of organization that we don't want to spend so much money on tools. We try to be lean. Yes, that's the word. We try to be lean. But these tools, if you can afford them, please, it helps you be better for it. Okay. And another step to transform your CRM is taking all that insights to action. It's not just enough to have all this information, but what are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? You get all this information from your CRM. You need to make decisions that drive your team and extensively the business forward. All right. So which of these 4 areas, forecasting, process, enablement, and alignment, is your weakest point right now? If you don't mind sharing, who wants to go first before we wrap up? I don't want to believe that we are all newbies. I know that from what I saw, there are persons here who already sell, who are in functioning teams as well. So what part of this is the weakest link for you or for your team? Nobody. Okay, so I'll go first. I think I already hinted that mine was the process. The sales process was a challenge, and it was nothing like what I was used to from, my other organizations. But I had to make sure that it was standardized. I know that organizations are different, but you want to build a team that even when they leave where they are right now, they can work in world-class organizations and not feel like fish out of water. So yes, so once I identified that we have a unique process, quite frankly, I still had to make standardized tweaks to the process that makes it, standardized, for lack of our way of saying it, so that when we leave, you can qualify to work in any organizations, good organizations, without feeling like you're new to the whole sales process in general. So that is it for me.
We have in the chat.
I beg your pardon?
We have one in the chat box.
Oh.
So there's pressure in data discipline is a challenge.
Oh,
I think
exactly.
that's like the problem for half of CRM users.
Yes, absolutely. It is honestly. And to be fair, my team still struggles with that. Just being able to do that. So what we now started to do to make that even better is create alerts. So we created alerts on Slack. I also added it to their calendars. So at the end of the week, you also get a notification that tells you to fill in your pipe drive. On Slack, you get a notification as well at midweek. You get I think Wednesdays, you get a notification on Wednesdays that nudges you to do that. But I don't want us to be dependent on that so much, but it's a good way to start. It's a good way to help with the discipline. Another thing I also did for the newbies on my team is to block out their calendars, where you now have focused time for revenue generating activities and you have focused time for revenue supporting activities. It is very easy as a salesperson to be pulled at multiple ends and then you lose sight of what's important. So for you to be able to impute your data accurately and do admin work, you then need to block out your calendar to say, at this time, in the mornings is the best. I will generate leads, I will do follow-ups, and then at this time, maybe after lunch, I can then respond to my messages on Slack. I can then, fill out details that I need to fill out on Pipedrive and do other admin tasks that is required of us as salespeople. Admin work can feel like a lot. I agree, Lucky, but it's important. A salesperson is as good as their time. I don't know if you've heard that quote before. A salesperson is as good as how well they manage their time. If you can't manage your time properly as a salesperson, you will never move the needle. What separates excellent salespeople from the mediocre ones is those who know how to manage their time. Our calendar is not just designed for only when we have meetings with clients. Now, if I want to, as a leader, if I want to handle my L&D, my learning and development, and take my courses, I have to block out time, else it will never happen. And that was how I was able to finish a course in Q1. Not Q1, I beg your pardon. That's H1 rather. Because I was able to block out time in my calendar. If you don't do that, if you don't manage your time properly, you would not be able to exert yourself as that salesperson that you aim to be, or even become a leader. For those who don't want to just be individual contributors, but want to go ahead to lead teams and do more impactful stuff. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, that's a good one, Lucky.
Okay, before we take more questions, Titi, I just wanted to share a mindset shift. And this is like a summary of everything that we've talked about today. Now you know what a CRM is. Now you know how important it is. A CRM is not an option. It is not. Some persons still use Excel sheets for their CRM. If that's what your company can afford at the moment, please bear with them. And hopefully from your inputs, the organization can get to a level where it can pay for tools. But now the mindset shift is your CRM should never be treated as extra admin. Find ways to work out of it. Let it be your decision-making engine. You look at what you've done this week and you can say, I think I wasted my time this week doing a lot of follow-ups and I didn't even add new leads to my pipeline. How do I intend to achieve my target this month? And then you can go back and make a good decision to generate leads that week or the next week, right? Your CRM is not just your database, a storage system. It is your growth engine. It helps you with strategy, with processes, with sales enablement. Even when your CRM is telling you, join this live session, let's learn how to 10x sales with AI. Join them. Join them. An alignment with all the teams in the organization that you are at. So that is the mindset shift I want you to have. Remember that your CRM can either slow you down or speed you up. The difference is just how you use it. So use your CRM wisely.
Thank you very much. Lydia has a question.
Okay.
Before we round up. Hi, Lydia.
Hi, Lydia.
You want to type it in the chat box, or do you want to unmute your mic? Oh, okay. She's typing.
Yeah, she is. I can see that. Thanks, CT. But is it okay to ask questions? Since we don't have questions yet. In an organization where CRM tools isn't provided nor paid attention to, yet you're required to get clients. However, I've learned Apollo.io to generate leads, but I have a challenge. The free plan is so limited. What do you suggest? Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell you based on this. Your CRM does not stop you from acquiring leads. Your CRM allows you to manage it properly. So if you have, or you're a part of an organization that does not prioritize this, there are two ways you can handle this. Use an Excel sheet as your CRM, create the different stages of the pipeline and move it manually. It's a lot of work, honestly, but it's where you're at the moment, unfortunately. Then you can then be that person that gets some results and then pitch it to your manager or to your boss. We need this. This is why. This is what I've been able to do with an Excel sheet. But given the opportunity and the right tools, I can 10x this. I can reach out to more people using so and so CRM. And you must have done your research about the different CRMs that are at the price points that you'd want to recommend to your organization. If they are not budging, please and please start looking for another organization to work with while you're still there. Because I believe as a salesperson, I want to be able to enjoy. Sales in itself can be challenging. Then imagine if you're working in an organization that you don't even enjoy what you're doing. I'm not of the school of thought that we should be passionate about what we do or everything that we do. I never even thought I was going to do sales for the life of me, but we're here and it brings in the bread. So we will do it to the best of our ability. However, if an organization is not equipping you to grow and be better at what you've chosen to do, you can start looking. You can start looking for other organizations, to be honest. But in the while, you have to make do what you have.
Thank you so much. Okay, one more question from her. Is there a CRM tool that automatically sends follow-up emails to initial prospects?
It's not a CRM tool. With Apollo is a data enrichment tool. So it allows you to get accurate data. There is another tool, I'm trying to remember its name right now. I know I was able to create a sequence using that tool. This was last 2 years-ish. So what it then does is, when you create a sequence, you have different email templates on there and you've automated it to send to, you automated to send to a bucket of leads, right? But I remember that was some 2 years ago. I doubt that there are tools right now that will allow you to do automation without paying for it. So you may need to pay for it, but you can Google or use ChatGPT and ask about tools that are free. I can't remember that particular tool, but it was able to give me sequences And if I remember, it's definitely a free plan at the time. It was a free plan, and I was able to, use that to create a sequence and reach out to a bucket of leads for a period of time. But it's definitely not something you're going to do consistently for free. No organization will do that for you, to be honest. But yeah, ask ChatGPT or Google and see if CRM tools like Pipedrive allow you to create an email sequence. Yes, but it doesn't send follow-up emails for free. You have to pay for it. Right, Dara? Is it free? Exactly, Lydia. Those are features on the paid plan. You have to pay for it, unfortunately. But until then, do your follow-ups manually. It will definitely strengthen your muscle as a salesperson. I promise you, it will. It will. What frequency do you think it's reasonable to encourage the team to update the CRM? Personally, I feel end of the week is too far. What do you think? Oh, so with my team members, there is a notification that says updates at the end of the week, but that doesn't mean they're waiting for the end till the end of the week, right? I don't want to micromanage anybody. To be very honest, when I even joined the team, at some point, someone mentioned that they were being micromanaged. So I was like, I'm not even micromanaging, and you feel like you're being micromanaged. Then if I micromanage you, what would happen? But the truth of the matter is, with the CRM and with my job, my KPI has to do with you adopting the CRM. So we have to find a way. So this is what I did. I have my one-on-ones with my team. We have our meetings on Monday. On Monday, share your screen. You share your screen and you share your Pipedrive. Please walk us through the strong deals that you're having based on so and so products that we're selling. And then you have to share your screen. So nobody has to tell you, you will update your CRM. I don't have to tell you directly, but because of what we have to do on Mondays, you then will update your CRM. Then there is a check-in, a weekly check-in on Wednesdays as well. If you don't update it on Monday, of course, they do update it on Monday, but by Wednesday, you have to update everything that you've done Monday through then for us to be able to see and have a conversation on when you're giving us updates. All right. Then by Friday, it's just a notification that says, yeah, update your CRM. And because of our process at Big Cabal, for you to be able to share receipts, right, of invoices that have been paid for. Remember I said, when people raise invoices, they consider it a deal. But this time around, there is the part where a deal has been paid for and you need to share the receipts for the finance team to collect. That is a different process. It's an admin work, but when that is done, there is no how you do that without referencing a deal in the Pipedrive. If you're sharing a receipt and you say, oh, this client has paid, I don't consider a deal until I can see it on your CRM. If it's not there, it never happened. It never existed. So these are ways that you nudge your team members to do what they need to do. And over time, you now hear team members say, oh, this is actually very helpful. And during our one-on-ones as well, I have one-on-ones on Thursdays. This is helpful, this is working, and we're talking about your challenges on Thursday when we're having our one-on-ones. And you're forced to talk about them through the CRM to tell me, this is what I'm going through right now. This is the client that is giving me a difficult time. And this is, we then, walk through it. So all of these different processes allows them to update it by themselves without you having to shout, update your CRM all over the place. I hope that helps.
Thank you so very too much, Gertrude, for
You're
a very
welcome.
session time is perfect for you because this gave more context to the earlier session. We've come to the end of Gertrude's session, and now we're heading to the panel session. Who is ready? But before we go there, if you'd like to connect with Gertrude on LinkedIn, I'm going to share our LinkedIn right now. And also, we have these sessions in the community all the time. Slides and all of that is going to be shared in the learning channel. So please join in. By the way, I'm going to be dropping the link right now so that you don't miss anything. And then you're also able to keep track of, let me show my face. You're also able to keep track of everything that we're doing in the community. For example, when next a session like this will be coming up, connect with Gertrude.
Yeah, please connect with me. I respond to my messages on LinkedIn. Thank you very much. Happy to help any way or form.
So what have you learned in this session? What have you learned? What is one key thing that you're taking out of this session? I see Precious has a lot to take out. Same with Lydia, you know, but then I want Ngozi to share with me what exactly she's learned in this session. Isaiah, don't go quiet on me now. You know, Edwina, the big fan. Share with us what you've learned. I want to see energy in the chat box.